Lee watches a scary movie here for another quick kill. And my God, has there been some big news coming out of Hollywood today. The first thing we're going to hit on is Jason Blum putting his foot in his mouth in regards to the Paranormal Activity movies. So, it came out today that Jason Blum noted in a review with Variety that their next entry in the Paranormal Activity series is set to come out sometime in 2023. But he also notes how he wasn't a fan about the way that the previous film, Paranormal Activity Next of Kin, turned out, and that the franchise is likely going on hold after the next film next year, which will be the 8th entry. And not only that, Blum's exact words were, "It has been enough already. The last Paranormal Activity movie was terrible." And this just brought an onslaught of people, both filmmakers and the crew involved with Paranormal Activity Next of Kin, along with a number of fans and supporters to come out in support of the crew, cast, everybody there on this film. Now, y'all might remember, I reviewed Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. I loved it just because I'm not a fan of the Paranormal Activity movies, honestly. I get it for those that like them. They don't do anything for me. They don't really scare me. I don't really find the concept that interesting, honestly. I think that plenty of other films have done part of that concept, or the full concept, much better than it turned out. No shade to the filmmakers, no shame to the cast and crew with that either. They're just not for me. But they're wildly successful, so clearly they're for a lot of people. But I absolutely love the last film, Next of Kin, because it took more of a Blair Witch approach in terms of the stories compared to the story that the previous films have been telling. And yes, it is still all about demonic possession, but again, I found so many similarities with the most recent Paranormal Activity to even the most recent Blair Witch film as well. And I really enjoyed the movie. Now, I get it, a lot of people did not, and that's fine. But in the day and age that we're living in here now, the films are even harder to get made and get in front of a wide audience, and especially when last year we were still dealing with horror, and let me rephrase that. Last year, we were still dealing with a lack of new stuff to watch at times, and horror has been consistent for the last 2.5 years with this pandemic, is that there's always been something new and great with horror coming every month. So a comment like that is pretty damning and pretty telling, and it's not the first comment, the first like kind of comment or tweet that Blum has made like that, that's definitely been putting foot in mouth. Now, who am I, okay? I love the fact that y'all watch this show, but obviously it's not gonna make any waves in his life or anything like that. And Blumhouse is a great production studio. They put out a lot of good movies, but the problem is that they're getting a lot of bad press recently, including the way they treat a lot of their filmmakers on a number of their films, and this just goes to further that point that maybe a little bit more compassion can be involved here. Next, it was announced Roy Lee, who is a producer all y'all should know. He's a producer of a lot of these big horror films, including The Ring, the Poltergeist remake, the most recent Blair Witch, as well as It. Yeah, he's done some of the bigger films of our time, and he also obviously has a big interest here in The Strangers, because Lee was the one that found that, and he recently revealed on one of Bloody Disgusting's podcasts, The Boo Crew, that there are 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 Stranger sequels that are being filmed next month, September 2022. And not only that, what he also said is that they're being made with another filmmaker that people will know. Now, here's the thing. This is awesome. It's the only other time it's happened, and it was mentioned on Bloody Disgusting's article about it, was with the Fear Street movies, that they filmed all 3 back-to-back with the same filmmaker. So I have to imagine it's going to be the same thing. And it's interesting because the original Strangers at this point is 14 years old. It came out back in 2008, and the last time that we got The Stranger, The Strangers Prey at Night, I believe was 2017. I want to say, I think it's 2017 or 2018, which was an absolutely phenomenal film. I actually reviewed that earlier this year, said it was far and wide way better than the original movie and the kind of horror that I was looking for. So it's been a few years at this point. We're ready to get another one. I would hope that that means we at least get one of those movies towards like fall next year. So next September, next October, we can get one of them, maybe with the other two releasing early 2024. So who knows? And who knows if the story is going to follow up as well too, as at the end of Strangers Prey at Night, we know that most of the strangers themselves were dead at that point, but it was left open with Bailey Madison's character along with her brother, I think it was Luke, I can't remember the name and actor right this moment, but Bailey Madison's character and her brother were both left alive in this hospital, and there was kind of a hint that that there might be one lone surviving stranger that has shown up to finish them off. So who knows if we pick up directly from there. Bailey Madison is doing Pretty Little Liars Original Sin for HBO Max right now, so she may not be available. So who knows? Do we focus on the brother? Do we just go to somebody completely different, which is probably the right idea, but then I'd have to imagine that whoever is our protagonist in the third movie might go on to the fourth and the fifth movie as well too. Will it be a prequel? Because we have to assume that between the first Strangers and Strangers Prey at Night, they've done this a bunch of times. It's not like Prey at Night was the second time that this happened. It's very clear that they've had their practice into it. So we don't know. Will it be set earlier? Is it going to be set today? Not the slightest idea. But I'm excited because Strangers Prey at Night was absolutely phenomenal. And as long as we're keeping that kind of tune for future films, I'm definitely in. And the fact that we're doing 3 and that Roy Lee is choosing to allow that to happen, that's big. Like or hate those Stranger movies, that's absolutely what we need to build these franchises out. We're at the point now to where I think we're past complaining and caring that we get so many sequels in a franchise. Y'all gotta remember, Halloween had racked up 6 sequels by the mid-90s. By the end of the 90s, it was at 7 films in total. Nightmare on Elm Street, that ended up having 7 films in total by the end of the 90s. Friday the 13th had 10 films in total by the end of the 90s. Not every franchise got that many movies, but a lot of our big heavyweights got that. So why aren't we greenlighting more films that build these franchises out? Because they don't all have to be big winners. You can look at any of those franchises and see that they all have some clunkers in there. And for me, in The Strangers, it's that first movie. So if we're going to keep going upwards, I'm all about that. Bring that on. I'm excited to hear the cast. I'm excited to hear who's actually directing them as well too. And we do know that we at least have our original writer coming back to do the story. Brian Bertino, who wrote both Strangers and Strangers Prey at Night, is back again writing the rest of these stories as well too. So I'm very, very excited to see what's going to happen with these films. Lastly, and this is the big one, in the same interview with the Boo Crew, Roy Lee revealed that there is something that he would love to talk about on the Friday the 13th franchise front, and that you may be hearing something by year's end. Now, keep in mind, Roy Lee has been involved with the Friday the 13th franchise for about 4 years now. His production company, Vertigo Entertainment, was set to produce it. LeBron James' company, Spring Hill Entertainment, was also in this as well too. But we do know that because of all the legal happenings that have been going on for so long, with Victor Miller, who wrote the original script, and Sean Cunningham, who went on and basically created Adult Jason and was in charge of the series after that, those two were in a heavy legal battle. Basically everything split down the middle to where Victor Miller owns everything to do with the original Friday the 13th. So Pamela Voorhees, Kid Jason Voorhees, Camp Crystal Lake, all that stuff there. But Sean Cunningham owns clearly Adult Jason, Hockey Mask, all of that. So basically we said that once this case was finished up, there was no way we were going to get something new unless these two came together. So the fact that Roy Lee is saying that there's something that we're going to hear by year's end, that's got to mean that they've reached an agreement finally. And they had to. They absolutely had to. This is a franchise that has been dead for far too long. Yeah, we haven't got a Nightmare on Elm Street film since that reboot, but that doesn't change the fact that folks have been in the work trying to think about a new take on it, or another reboot, or another sequel in the years since. We know that for a fact. Friday the 13th, though, has been on ice. Hellraiser is back. Chucky is back. Everybody else is back at this point. But Jason has still been under the leg. So I'm excited because y'all know your boy's a Friday the 13th fan. Have no idea where we're gonna go with this because he didn't reveal anything else. So could it be a sequel to the Jared Padalecki starring film that was absolutely awesome, a fantastic remake? Would it be a sequel that's set back in the original canon, maybe after Jason X or prior to Jason X? Is it just gonna be another reboot? Will it be an old school prequel where we finally see Elias Voorhees, who has been talked about for the longest of times? We have no idea, but I'm amped to see it, y'all. Hopefully we're going to hear more about a Friday the 13th film. I'd like it before the end of the year. Let's bring it up as a Halloween treat, all right? So, that's all I got to talk about for now. Y'all please make sure to check out some of the great reviews I got up recently, including Bodies, 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 and Prey. I'm T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared. Hey everybody, I appreciate you checking out this video, whether it was a review, whether it was a new episode, whether it was an unboxing, an interview, or whatever else. I want to remind you can check out my separate reviews also on my YouTube page, and new full episodes go up every Wednesday night on YouTube at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and on your favorite podcasting platforms at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like and share. My name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.